It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled. From morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Good morning, everyone. It is July the 8th. We are officially into the second week of July. I hope we all have our fingers after 4th of July. Thank you, Wolfram, for doing all of the mod things. Good morning, Christine. I hope you're having a great Monday. Fraudit Terminator, welcome. Squid Pro Quo, take care of baby squid first. Baby squid is obviously, more important than streaming. Or at least my stream. Good morning, Tammy. So we have a lot of news. Unfortunately, our first story is rather sad. A Colorado teen died after jumping into an electrified Virginia lake while celebrating the 4th of July. It seems like such a terrible event for, his family to have to go through. I don't know how this happened. So let's read the article together. A Colorado teen died after he jumped into an electrified lake while celebrating 4th of July, according to reports. Jesse Hamrick, 18, dove into the water at Smith Mountain Lake outside Roanoke, Virginia, early Thursday morning, while friends immediately noticed something was wrong. When his friends jumped in after Harmick, they felt themselves get shocked upon entering the water. Despite their own injuries, they were able to pull their friend out, according to WDBJ. One of the friends immediately began CPR on Hamrick, while the other ones called for help. Rescue crews arrived around 4 a.m. and rushed him to the hospital. Unfortunately, he did pass and then took two of his friends who suffered minor injuries to the same hospital. An investigation by fire crews detected electrical currents in the water where the teen died. Police determined it was caused by stray voltage spreading from a dock at a nearby private residence. There is no foul play suspected. A native of Steamboat Springs, Hamrick had been visiting friends with his family at the time of the freak accident. I would expect a wrongful death suit in this, especially if the dock wasn't grounded correctly, because technically that can be your private dock. And not as a lawyerologist or anything, but, if something you did was extremely dangerous to the general populace, you can be held liable for that. Not to mention, just the heartbreak that this family's going through after they just celebrated him graduating from high school, which he had graduated in May. He excelled on the football and baseball teams. Ever since I first met that kid, he's one of a kind, his friend Alex Schwab told KDVR. You see him and you just he always has a smile on his face. I still can't even process it. I'm so upset. Honestly, this has to be the worst thing that could happen. And hopefully they have fixed the problem on that dock so there's no one else unsafe, because that's a major, major health and safety issue. And I can't believe that no one else noticed it. Though, things do degrade over time. Maybe the wiring was great at first and, natural corrosion. Flying, making the, American road trip the greatest thing ever. As always, a mass brawl breaks out at 30,000 feet in the sky on Ryanair, prompting an emergency landing. Quote, "It was the flight from hell." Y'all, I don't know how you can make airline travel less exciting than all of these stories. A mass brawl between passengers aboard Ryanair flight from hell caused the pilot to make an emergency landing after taking off in a seemingly unending chaotic scene, ignited by a man asking to switch his seat. The London Stansted Airport bound flight departed from uh, Agadir, Morocco on Wednesday when the chaos erupted at 30,000 feet in the air, the Sun reported. Good morning, greedy bloke. The startling video obtained by the outlet shows passengers screaming at each other from across the plane and panic stricken airline staff trying their best to calm down unhinged passengers. Tensions began festering before takeoff when a man in his late 20s reportedly asked a woman sitting with her daughter if he could take her seat to be with his wife and kids. The woman allegedly refused to make the switch, which prompted the unhinged man to start threatening her. Well, because if you don't get what you want at first, just threaten. I'm sure it'll work out. What an absolute dingleberry move. Good morning, Jedi Jess. Unaware that the tensions were simmering in the captain, Ryanair pilots took off as scheduled once the plane reached its cruising altitude and the seatbelt sign was turned off. The husband of the male passenger asked to move. A man in his 30s reportedly came to his wife's defense, triggering mayhem. They were trying to punch each other, an anonymous 36-year-old passenger told the outlet. One of the families was part of a larger group of passengers and started to join in. Well, nothing like a Waffle House, up at 30,000 feet. Then the lady in the row behind them started to have a panic attack because of everything going on. She was screaming and there were kids crying. Sounds like a regular day at the DMV. The flight was only in the air for 36 minutes when the plane was forced to make an unexpected landing, the unnamed passenger, described only as a finance worker from Hertfordshire, UK, shared. It was so stressful. It was the flight from hell, and it all escalated from that one passenger wanting to change seats. Things became so chaotic that a male passenger allegedly fell ill during the madness. The cabin crew had to administer him oxygen before landing, according to The Sun. The Ryanair flight landed in Marrakesh, Morocco, where police boarded the aircraft, detained 9 passengers involved in the flight, and removed them. The male passenger who fell ill was treated by medics who deemed him unfit to fly, but he refused to disembark the plane and began losing his cool, allegedly becoming abusive toward cabin crew. So you got one dingleberry off, and then another dingleberry decides he's going to cling on for the duration. What in the world? They think I'm a bad guy. That's why they're bringing the whole army here to take me down. The man can be heard shouting in a clip obtained by The Sun. Give me my effing bag or I'll whack your jaw, bruv. God, I love that hillbillies are in every single, country. Passengers were heard pleading with the man to just get off the plane, but he refused to listen. Police had to board the aircraft to forcibly remove the crazed, ill passenger. Look, if I'm a passenger on this flight at this point, I'm thinking it is cursed. You are going to need to bring in a priest, an Orthodox priest, a couple Episcopalians, and some sage before I get back on this plane. After 2 hours, it was still chaotic. Unfortunately, the 200 remaining passengers, the Ryanair crew had reached their maximum flying hours because of the ordeal, so they were all forced to stay in a hotel overnight and book a flight the next morning. The morning flight was also canceled, though, and the passengers did not arrive at Stansted Airport until Thursday evening. Upon their arrival, the passengers were filmed booing at Ryanair's cabin crew, a video showed by The Sun shows. A Ryanair spokesperson confirmed to The Sun that the flight from Agadir to London Stansted had been diverted to Marrakesh after a small group of passengers became disruptive, during which time another passenger became disruptive. So, yeah, I'm not flying Ryanair. Just not going to do it. In important 4th of July news, although this is contested because, Joey Chestnut was not allowed to compete in the Nathan's famous power eating contest. It went to Berletti and Sundo win the top honors at Nathan's famous power eating contest, absent the longtime champ. So this is a contested contest. I know this is big, important news, y'all. Patrick Bertoli gobbled up 58 hot dogs to win his first men's title Thursday at the annual Nathan's famous 4th of July hot dog eating contest, taking advantage of the absence of the event's biggest star. In the women's competition, defending champion Miki Sudo won her 10th title and set a new world record by downing 51 hot dogs. Joey Jaws Chestnut, the reigning men's champion and winner of 16 out of 17 previous competitions, did not attend this year because, well, he hawked a vegan hot dog. Belletti is 39 and from Chicago and won in a tight 10-minute race where the leader bounced back and forth, defeating 13 other competitors from around the world. He said he lost weight and practiced for 3 months with an urgency to prepare for the event. So how does one practice for mega eating? I mean, do you go to a buffet? Do you just get all of the packages of hot dogs at the Walmart and say, look, no, I'm an athlete. Chill out. And a Diet Coke. I just need to know how one practices for this. With Joey not here, I knew I had a shot, he said. I was able to unlock something I didn't know where it came from. Okay, sir, I'm gonna need you to simmer down a little bit. You didn't run like the New York Marathon in an hour and 15 minutes. You ate, a bunch of hot dogs in 10 minutes, and I'm sure that your gut is going to be fighting you for days. He bested his prior record of 55 hot dogs at the event, which is held every Independence Day on New York's Coney Island, a beachfront destination with amusement parks and a carnivalesque summer culture. Early in the women's competition, Pseudo, a 38-year-old dental hygienist student from Florida, once again carried the day and set a new record a year after forcing down 39 and a half hot dogs in 2023. Just the half. Just the tip, ma'am. Pseudo defeated 13 competitors, including 28-year-old rival Mayoi Ibahara of Japan, who came in second after eating 37 hot dogs, and she was also the runner-up in 2023. Pseudo also outdid her partner, former bodybuilder Nicholas Wary, who ate 46 hot dogs in the men's competition. I will have to put that on my to-do list, but no, I don't like hot dogs that much. Bertoli's victory marks the first time the famed mustard belt has gone to someone besides Chestnut since 2015. Thousands of fans, some wearing foam hot dog hats, flock each year to the event held outside the original Nathan's location in Coney Island. Rich Shea, CEO of the event and organizer of the Major League Eating, noted how people still came out in droves even though Chestnut wasn't there. Good morning, Susan M. Just a great competitor, great guy, a grown man, a man who made a choice not to be here today, he said of the popular eating champion on ESPN. But fortunately for us, tens of thousands of people are crowding around Nathan's famous. It's a pilgrimage every year. This is not a paid Hollywood crowd. And thank you for becoming a new member of the Church of Mo. We have the dark side of the force and Oreos, Little Debbie's, and dark humor. Those are our coping skills. Welcome. The competitors came from over a dozen states and 5 continents, with prospects flying in from Brazil, Japan, the United Kingdom, South Korea, Australia, and the Czech Republic. Trying for the coveted title and $10,000 in prize money. Last year, Chestnut of Indiana chose his way to the title by downing 62 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes. The record, which he set in 2021, was 76. Uh, Y'all, this just sounds like a big old Pepto-Bismol ad for me, but, you know, there you go. People still went to Nathan's. They still tried to eat a whole bunch of hot dogs. So the world revolves on without Joey Chestnut. It's not my sport, y'all. I don't know. In other plane-related news, but this is interesting, and Boeing might be skirting criminal, criminal penalties by doing this. Boeing accepts a plea deal to avoid a criminal trial over 737 MAX crashes, Justice Department says. So this is definitely Boeing, I think, realizing that they are no longer, even though their whistleblowers are dropping like flies, uh, it's too big to ignore now. So they would rather not be wearing, stripedy suits and behind bars. So they're willing to pay money now. Boeing will plead guilty to criminal fraud charges stemming from two crashes of 737 MAX jetliners that killed 346 people after the government determined that the company violated an agreement that protected it from prosecution for more than 3 years, the Justice Department said Sunday night. Federal prosecutors gave Boeing the choice last week of entering a guilty plea and paying a fine as part of its sentence, or facing trial on the felony criminal charges of conspiracy to defraud the United States. Prosecutors accused the American aerospace giant of deceiving regulators who approved the airplane and pilot training requirements for it. The plea deal, which must still receive approval from a federal judge to take effect, calls for Boeing to pay an additional $243.6 million as a fine. That was the same amount paid under the 2021 settlement that the Justice Department said the company breached. An independent monitor would be named to oversee Boeing's safety and quality procedures for 3 years. The deal also requires Boeing to invest at least $455 million in its compliance and safety programs. The plea deal covers not only wrongdoing by Boeing before the crashes, which killed all 346 passengers and crew members aboard two new MAX jets. It does not give Boeing immunity for other incidents, including the panel that blew off a MAX jetliner during Alaskans airline flight in January, a Department of Justice person said. So they're still on the hook for those things. These apparently, I doubt that Boeing is going to be a company by the end of this decade. I just don't see how one weathers this. This isn't like the Tylenol, the Chicago Tylenol thing where they were able to improve safety standards and really become kind of the, blueprint for how to make a bad corporate press thing into, a strong comeback. I don't know what Boeing would have to do to come back from this PR, this general, the general public do not feel safe in a lot of these airplanes anymore. The deal will not cover any current or former Boeing officials, only the corporation. In a statement, Boeing confirmed it had reached a deal with the Justice Department but had no further comment. In a court filing Sunday night, the Justice Department said it expected to file the written plea agreement with the court by July 19th. Lawyers for some of the relatives who died in those two crashes have said they will ask the judge to reject the agreement. Quote, this sweetheart deal fails to recognize that because of Boeing's conspiracy, 346 people died. Through crafty lawyering between Boeing and the DOJ, the deadly consequences of Boeing's crime are being hidden, said Paul Castle, a lawyer for some of the families. Federal prosecutors allege Boeing committed conspiracy to defraud the government by misleading regulators about in-flight control system that was implicated in the crashes, which took place in Indonesia in October 2018 and Ethiopia less than 5 months later. As a part of January 2021 settlement, the Justice Department said that it would not prosecute Boeing on the charge if the company complied with certain conditions for 3 years. Prosecutors last month alleged Boeing had breached the terms of that agreement. The company's guilty plea will be entered in U.S. District Court in Texas. The judge overseeing the case, who has criticized what he called Boeing's egregious criminal conduct, could accept the plea and sentence that the prosecutors offer, or he could reject the agreement, likely leading to new negotiations between the Justice Department and Boeing. The case goes back to the crashes in Indonesia and Ethiopia. The Lion Air pilots in the first crash did not know about the in flight control software that could push the nose of the plane down without their input. Pilots for Ethiopian Air knew about it but were unable to control the plane when the software activated based on information from a faulty sensor. The Justice Department charged Boeing in 2021 with deceiving FAA regulators about the software, which did not exist in older 737s, and about how much training pilots would need to fly the plane safely. The department agreed not to prosecute Boeing at the time. However, if the company paid a $2.5 billion settlement, which included $243.6 million in a fine, and took steps to comply with anti-fraud laws for 3 years. Boeing, which blamed two low-level employees for misleading the regulators, tried to put the crashes behind it. After grounding MAX jets for 20 months, regulators let them fly again after Boeing reduced the power of the flight software. MAX jets logged thousands of safe flights, and orders from airlines picked up, increasing from about 750 in 2021 to more than 700 in 2022 and nearly 1,000 in 2023. The company, based in Arlington, Virginia, has dozens of airline customers spanning the globe. The best customers for the 737 MAX include Southwest, United, American, Alaska, Ryanair, and Fly Dubai. That changed in January when a panel covering, so we kind of know what happened. What I will say is that this happened in the late 80s, early 70s with the DC-10. I believe that was Morgan David, was a very big name in airline construction, but because of the inherent flaws that they pushed through of the DC-10, they no longer are a company that's involved in aircraft, engineering and production. So I doubt that we will be seeing Boeing much longer, but I am not a financialologist, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Good morning, Alice G. and Captain Kern and Flux. What in the Walmart shenanigans is going on here? And of course, it would be a daywalker. And as a fake daywalker, us gingers can be a little deadly. I'm just saying. Uninvited guest at a 21-year-old birthday party opens up with his force multiplier and, unalives 4 people, injuring 3 others. What was supposed to be Wrong one. What was supposed to be a 21st birthday party celebration turned tragic when an uninvited guest opened fire, killing 4 people and injuring 3 others, police say, in Kentucky. Several party goers called Florence police shortly after 3 a.m. Saturday regarding an active shooter inside a home on Ridgecrest Drive. Quote, when they arrived, they still heard shots being fired, Chief Jeff Mallory told reporters during a press conference. The officer found 2 victims out on the front lawn and 5 more in the home, according to Mallory. Paramedics pronounced 4 of the victims dead on the scene while they rushed the other 3 to a nearby Cincinnati hospital. People on scene identified the shooter as 21-year-old Chase Garvey and gave officers a description of his vehicle. A responding officer spotted the car and gave chase after Garvey fled from a traffic stop. The pursuit ended when at Dale Hembrook Way near Hitch Pike, where Garvey left the road and crashed into a ditch. The cops found Garvey suffering from a self-inflicted force multiplier wound. First responders transported him to the hospital, where he was also pronounced dead. Mallory said the 3 victims are expected to make a full recovery. He identified the deceased victims as Shane Miller and Hayden Rybick, both 20 years old, along with Delaney Edry, 19, and Melissa Parrott, 44. The party was for Parrott's son, Mallory said. A motive for the shooting is unclear, though Mallory said that Garvey had not been invited to the party. Mallory was emotional throughout the process of the press conference, as you can understand, and said that his heart goes out to the families of the victim and his officers who responded to the scene. We've never dealt with this before, he said. I know it's going around the nation, but this is the first time that we've had a mass shooting in Florence. Neighbors, including some who were at the party earlier in the night, were left stunned. We were sitting on the driveway chatting, making memories, and then decided to go home around 12:30. I live right there, Leah Moore told Cincinnati Fox affiliate WXIX. If I would have probably stayed a little longer, I probably would have been involved in the tragedy. WXIX reported that Garvey was arrested for SAing a 13-year-old girl in 2021. He allegedly drove to the girl's home after meeting her on Snapchat. The victim reportedly told authorities that she didn't want to do anything of that nature with Garvey, but he used force. So what an absolute trash bag human being. Kentucky Department of Correction records show he pled guilty to unlawful transaction with a minor, and a judge sentenced him to 5 years of probation. How does that get 5 years of probation? I'm sorry, you actively traveled to a minor's house and tried to force them to do things they didn't want to. I mean, no, directly to Snake Island. You do not get parole. You do not get probation. You go to Snake Island because we can no longer trust you with our precious commodity that is our children. So our most precious treasure we can no longer trust you with. You go to Snake Island. People who live nearby had fond memories of Parrott. She was truly, truly sunlight in a dark room, Ken Korfenhagen told the TV station. So what an absolute dingleberry. I wish that there were sometimes they would come up with this reason and it would make sense, but as sadly as the truth, and as I say all the time, evil doesn't need a reason a lot. Evil doesn't need a reason. In what I would do if I won Jeopardy, a Jeopardy champ was forced to re-record the winning moment due to his huge reaction. Quote, I love showboating. This is Mo if she ever wins Jeopardy. Now, it won't happen because I always forget to answer things in the form of a question, but I would ham it up. I'd be like, oh my gosh, can I change wigs? Can I get a different outfit? I definitely need to show off my championship. When it comes to game show etiquette, Jeopardy contestants are used to following certain standards. For Drew Basil, the first Survivor contestant to compete on the game show, his excitement was quick to overshadow what should have been a poised celebration. During an episode of Rob Has a Podcast, the Michigan-based graduate student who admitted to never really watching Jeopardy before appearing on the show revealed he had been forced to re-record a winning moment due to his huge reaction. Obviously, I had a big reaction at the end of the tiebreak because, it's like a Western standoff, he said, referencing his game against opponent Josh Haidt. But I had such a big reaction that I think we had to re-record it. I was like, let's go, he said, and pumped his fists in the air. And they were like, we're not doing that. The podcast co-host asked of the producer's reaction. Well, Jeopardy is so classy. I had a huge reaction, Basil responded. It was kind of a bit muted compared to some of the hate you get from Survivor, he added of the retake. Good morning, Fraud at Wrangler. I speak English all the time. I was kind of a polarizing figure on Jeopardy, he said. They have so much poise and they're all dressed up to encourage those best qualities of politeness and uh, recalcitude, and people don't really showboat. I had no issue with either of those things. I love showboating, he added. I think because I have a bit more personality than your average winning contestant, it could have been a little unnerving for some viewers, he speculated. Everyone loves to root against the winner. You don't want to be the winner to be some kind person that you would invite into your home. That's boring. I'll gladly take being the heel. I'll lean into it. It I just have like a couple questions here. Is he wearing suspenders on top of a t-shirt, but the suspenders aren't even staying up? Cuz I have a lot of questions here. Uh, Basil said he finished the first with a 7-day winning streak behind 15-day winner Ariana Harmeyer and earned $129,601 before he was defeated on June 28th. In contrast to Basil, Jeopardy contestant Aaron Burker made a game show history this season after recording the second lowest score in the competition's history. After an episode in June, the stay at home mom walked away with negative $7,200. Score. That would be me. They'd get to the math stuff, and I'd be like, well, I'm going to guess that math is real. The low score followed former contestant Patrick Pierce's negative 7,400 in July 2021. Booker told Fox News Digital that she had a pretty cool time taping the episode, and she would describe it as an out-of-body experience. This is actually Mo's record on. Yes, Flux, but I'm sure your suspenders didn't look like they were also falling off. So you probably wore it great. His look like they're not even doing their job. Good morning, Flash fan. I am doing great. Now I hope you are doing well too. But this is actually how Mo would fare on Jeopardy, because let's be honest, they don't have enough pop culture and weird internet stuff on there for me. You're looking, you see the clues, but you don't remember what category it is, she explained. You're reminding yourself not to, make weird faces because you're on live television. The way they tape it is like a real live show. They keep it really tight, she continued. So you just don't make weird faces, don't do anything odd, which is always kind of running through your head. And then so you'll see an answer in front of you and it's very blurry. I can't explain it. This is all happening, she said, and it's just all happening at once. There's just a lot of noise in your head, and it's kind of an out of body experience, too. I mean, to be fair, if I were asked a math question, I would make a face. Y'all know this face is bold, underlined, and capsed, which is why I will not be on Jeopardy. I can make fun of myself on YouTube for free. In good news, an American teen who disappeared in Germany after leaving a Caribbean Princess cruise ship was found safe. Now, whether he did this on purpose or, on accident, we will find out. A missing 14-year-old American boy has been found safe after he left a cruise ship that was docked in Germany and disappeared, authorities said Saturday. Aiden Brown was found unharmed at 10 p.m. in Brandenburg, a city over 2 hours away from where he went missing in the port town of Rostock Wernmud. Look, I may have German in this DNA thing, but I don't know how to say that on Thursday. So we're going to go Rostock. Brown was last seen exiting the Caribbean Princess cruise shortly after it docked on the 4th of July at a port in, Rostock. Brown was taking a cruise with his grandmother when the pair reportedly got into an argument which led Brown to leave the ship, police previously said. Princess told Fox News Digital that they were working with local police to find Brown after the teen disembarked without an escort. So he's just like, screw it, I'm going home. He pulled a full Cartman while on a cruise. Like grandma said I had to, get off my Game Boy for a little bit. I'm going to Germany. Concerns grew over Brown's whereabouts after family members posted on social media that the teen might have been lured away in their worst nightmare after he left the ship. Police said investigators picked up the teen's trail near Potsdam, a city on the border of Berlin, after an intensive investigation and evaluation of technical data. Brown was found in Brandenburg, about an hour west of Berlin. Police said he had been unharmed and he was accompanied by a 19-year-old whom he is believed to have met in Rostock. Well, yeah, because the strangers you meet in a weird country that are leading you in away from your family are generally the best kind of strangers. This kid is so grounded. He is never going to have a pad again. Like, my kid, if they did this, I would hug them very hard and be so happy that they were alive. And then all of their electronics would be out in the front yard and, they would become Amish. That's just how this is going to work. Good morning, JB. At this stage of the investigation, police said that there were no indications of a crime. Brown's family said in an update on social media that the 14-year-old was found safe and thanked everyone who shared updates of the ordeal. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Amy Kopishki, a cousin of Brown, wrote. Our prayers were answered and Aiden was found safe. The family wrote on social media that Brown was reunited with his grandmother and mother who had flown to Germany after he was missing later Saturday night. Oh yeah. And if one of my young feral ones had done this, they would be working off to repay me that emergency, ticket to Germany. And then and then I'd have to use his backpack to bring it back all the German candy. But that's just me. But yeah, no. Someone was acting like a spoiled brat, got in, a little tiff with his grandmother, and then decided to go 2 hours away and made the entire country of Germany look for him. You do not want to imagine. I mean, the man would be collecting Social Security and still grounded if you were my kid. Good morning, Rissa Murphy and Cynthia Fire Fairy. Good morning. In good news, and we don't always get to, highlight the Coast Guard, but they do a lot of really important things for us, and it's kind of a service that we sometimes maybe overlook. But thank you, Obscure Destinations Outdoor, for the $5. Good morning. And no worries, everyone could be on the replay crew. I am here having a semi-existential crisis when you know that relatives are coming from out of town and you've got your house looking halfway okay, but you realize that you're going to be doing the panicked bumblebee, speed cleaning to make it look like your family does not, in fact, live at your house. And then about 1:00, I'll probably do that thing where you just surrender to the fact that you still have children and this is still your house. And you just drink a glass of wine and you just say YOLO. And thank you, Friday Wrangler, for gifting 5 memberships. Those went to JB, FlashFan85, My Mama, Chris Rowland, Jason J. So welcome to the Church of Mo. We have, dark humor and dark chocolate. Those are our coping mechanisms, and we ban any of those plastic recorders from 3rd grade. And that's all. And thank Fraudit Wrangler for gifting those if you get a chance. Congratulations, you guys. So, Coast Guard rescued 5 boaters clinging to an overturned vessel in a harrowing drama 5 miles off of Florida. The U.S. Coast Guard on Sunday rescued 5 boaters who were desperately clinging to an overturned vessel 11 miles off the coast of Florida. The watery drama played out at 10:15 a.m. when the Coast Guard's Jacksonville sector got a 911 call from a local sheriff's office about an overturned vessel with 5 people in the water. What's happening tonight? Oh, relatives are coming in from out of town. So, we have to pretend like we don't live in our house and that our children know how to clean. that fake stuff that you do, like, "Excuse the house, it's such a mess," and you spent, like, 84 hours of uninterrupted time scrubbing things with a toothbrush, but you're like, "It's a shabby thing, but we worked on it." And you're like, "Only 3 bottles of wine and 1 nervous breakdown later, there but for the grace of God go I." Your eyeliner's up here because 'cause you've just been sweating and mopping and okay, anywho, away from my personal drama, let's get back to the Coast Guard drama. The Coast Guard dispatched a rescue boat from their Mayport, Florida base and a chopper from the Maritime Agency's station in Savannah, Georgia, officials said in a press release. Photos released from the Coast Guard show the boaters up huddled on top of a capsized craft before they were picked up by the rescue vessel, taken to relieved relatives waiting on the shore near Jacksonville. Now, that looks like a really small boat to be in a big ocean, but I'm not a boatologist. So, look, I don't get on the ocean unless I'm in a cruise liner. While on the water, the situations can become unpredictable and dangerous in an instant, so it's crucial to be prepared. Commander Nick Barrow of the Coast Guard Jacksonville sector said in a statement, "Having life jackets for everyone aboard your vessel can help save lives by providing essential buoyancy and increasing visibility in the water," Barrow said. "We appreciate the swift emergency communications relay with Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, enabling a rapid response to the scene. The overturned boat was left adrift in the ocean. The owner will have to arrange for its salvage." Oh, that is a really good idea. Look, I just know me, and I know that I am the most sinking person ever. Although that I should, in theory, be buoyant, I am in fact the least buoyant person in the entire world. So I will not get on the ocean without an ocean liner protection. Uh, well, I mean, now the kids are targeting students with group TikTok attacks. Well, there goes the neighborhood. Students target teachers in group TikTok attacks, shaking their school. In February, Patrice Motz, a veteran Spanish teacher at Great Valley Middle School in Malvern, Pennsylvania, was warned by another teacher that trouble was brewing. Some eighth graders in her public school had set up TikTok accounts impersonating teachers. Okay, that's basically what I do every day, so I'm not finding a problem with this. They're being humorous. They're in their little middle school minds speaking truth to power. It, I'm sure it'll be okay. Motz, who had never used TikTok, created an account. She found a fake profile for herself, which posted a real photo of her at a bench with her husband and her young children. Okay, y'all, kids, don't do this. You can put on funny wigs, you can, laugh at your teachers, but we do not dox our teachers. Also, we don't put this in there, but apparently on top of that, it said, "Do you like to touch kids?" in Spanish over the family vacation photo, and answered, "Sí." Okay, kiddos, you can't do this. You can make fun of someone. You can do a parody of them. What you can do is accuse them of defamation. Well, you can't commit defamation, and you can't spread, ridiculous stuff about your teachers. In the days that followed, some 20 educators, about one quarter of the school's faculty, discovered they were victims of fake teacher accounts rife with chomo innuendo, racist memes, homophobia, and made up smexy time hookups between teachers. Hundreds of students soon viewed, followed, or commented on the fraudulent accounts. In the aftermath, the school district briefly suspended several students, teachers said. The principal, during one lunch period, chastised the eighth grade class for its behavior. The biggest fallout has been for teachers like Motz, who said she felt kicked in the stomachs that the students would so casually savage their teachers' families. The online harassment has left some teachers worried that social media platforms are helping to stunt the growth of empathy in students. Some teachers are now hesitant to call pupils who act up in class. Others said it's been challenging to keep teaching. It's so deflating, said Motts, who has taught at the school in a wealthy Philadelphia suburb for about 14 years. I can't believe I get up and still do this every day. The Great Valley incident is the first known group TikTok attack of its kind by middle schoolers on their teachers in the United States. It's a significant escalation in how middle school and high school students impersonate, troll, and harass educators on social media. Before this year, students largely impersonated one teacher or principal at a time. The middle schoolers' attack also reflects broader concerns in schools about students' use and abuse of popular online tools that are intruding on classroom time. Some states and districts have recently restricted or banned student cell phones in schools, in part to limit peer harassment and cyberbullying on Instagram, Snap, TikTok, and other apps. Now, social media has helped normalize anonymous aggressive posts and memes, leading some children to weaponize them against adults. Quote, we didn't have to deal with teacher targeting at this scale before, said Becky Pringle, president of National Education Association, the largest U.S. teachers union. It's not only demoralizing, it could push educators to question, why do I continue this profession if students are doing this? So let's boil this down. Middle schoolers are a-holes. High schoolers are generally a-holes. They have just found a new way to be generally a-hole-ish. I understand it's not nice. I understand that they do cross the line with the, accusations of terrible, bad, gross human behavior. Okay, I get that. But this is no different than, students that used to pass notes or, when we would laugh because, one of my teachers always had her slip falling out and she still wore a slip in 2002. So, I mean, again, middle schoolers have always been a-holes. I was one. I can attest I was one. I mean, this is just Mean Girls in a different media. I understand that it's disheartening and everything else, but this seems like par for the course. And you guys, it either needs to be a parent thing, but what is the biggest way to get a bunch of students mad at you? Well, tell them the government tells them they can't have a phone. I mean, this should come from the parents. The parents should be in charge of things, and the parents should be setting better boundaries. Let's see here. In a statement, the Grand Valley High School or school district said it has taken steps to address the 22 fictitious TikTok accounts impersonating teachers at the middle school. It described the incident as a gross misuse of social media and profoundly impacted our staff. Y'all, seriously, the internet is good for several things. You can find out an answer to anything you need to know, possibly, but it's mainly for S posting. I mean, look, I get it. It's hurtful and everything else, but middle schoolers have always been a-holes. If they're not going to send notes, they're going to do it on TikTok. Last month, 2 female students at a school publicly posted an apology video made on a TikTok account using the name of a 7th grade teacher as a handle. The pair, who did not disclose their names, described the imposter videos as a joke and said the teachers had blown the situation way out of proportion. We never meant for it to get this far. Obviously, one of the students said in the video, I never wanted to get suspended. Yeah, I mean, this sounds like hysterical Helen Lovejoy stuff. And for those children that crossed the line, that went into that, place where they're accusing teachers of serious crimes, there needs to be consequence. But this is I'm trying to work on Rumble, y'all. It's working. So this needs to come from the home. This is the problem that the schools aren't going to fix, that all the social emotional learning, all of, be kind to others. Middle schoolers are still going to be a-holes. So unless you can figure out how to make middle school girls not mean girls, and you have an answer for this, then share it with the rest of the world. Because as far as I know, This is just going to happen. It's going to be in different media, it's going to be different instrumentality, but students are always going to make fun of their teachers, especially the ones that drink mouthwash for, medical reasons. In an email, move on, learn to joke. Another student said about a teacher, I'm 13 years old, she added, using expletive for emphasis, and you're like 40 or 50. You cannot reason with middle schoolers. This is exactly what you are going to get. Move on, learn to joke. You're like 143 years old. Okay? That's how they're going to see this. In an email to the New York Times, one of the students said that the fake teacher accounts were intended as obvious jokes, but that students had taken the impersonations too far. A TikTok spokesperson said the platform's guidelines prohibit misleading behavior, including accounts that pose as real people without disclosing that they are parodies or fan accounts. TikTok is a US-based security or has a US-based security team that validates ID information such as driver's license in impersonation cases and then delete the data. The Great Valley Middle School, locally known as a close-knit community, serves about 1,100 students in a modern brick complex surrounded by a sea of bright green sports field. How about we just take away these kids' phones? Take it away, you know what, and make them do chores. I have a whole house that needs to be cleaned. These middle schoolers, you can say whatever you want to me, just dust my baseboard, sweetie. I don't care if you think I'm mean. I don't care if you think I'm fluffy. I am 40. I'm nearly 40. I'm one of those ancient people that don't give two craps what middle schooler thinks. Maybe I should be a teacher. The imposter TikToks disrupted the school's equilibrium, according to the 7 Great Valley teachers, 4 of whom requested anonymity for privacy reasons. Some teachers who already used Instagram or Facebook, but not TikTok. The morning after Mott's, the Spanish teacher discovered her impersonator disparaging TikToks were already an open secret among the students. It was an undercurrent of conversation through. Okay, these teachers are sounding more like freaking 13-year-old girls than I do. Look, they said mean things about you. Was it mean? Yes. Did it hurt your feelings? Yes. Are the ones that went across the line and made serious allegations, should they be punished? Yes. Anything else? Unless you're going to enact a kindness, mandate, I don't think it's going to work. Middle schoolers are always going to be atrocious. I hate to say this because I wanted to teach middle school, but I went in full on knowing that middle school girls are emotional jihadists and middle school boys are either learning to love Axe body spray and are little turds, or they don't shower and have to be reminded to shower with soap. 13-year-olds are just a-holes. What do you want me to tell you? I feel like I'm just saying the world is round. And of course, if you have a 13-year-old, then they are not all the time. But they definitely, it's just something about being a kid. Middle schoolers are just terrible. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, no, see, they can earn Wi-Fi password. They'll be. But, that's just me. And if you think that middle school is hard, did you have the worst roommate ever? Well, a new true crime docuseries is going to dive into deadly living situations. I'm going to go ahead and say the blonde is probably the one that snapped in this picture. I don't know. Of course we had that, Tim Swope. I mean, it's Indiana. Look, there's not much to do around here. In the second season of Worst Roommate Ever, releasing on June 26th and garnering popularity on Netflix, it will delve into housing situations that reach their worst conclusion possible. A woman who was poisoned by her best friend for custody of her son, a terrifying tenant who murdered his elderly roommate after earning her trust, a woman who took out a life insurance policy on a roommate then left him with a traumatic brain injury, and a landlord that shot and disembodied his tenets are the subject of the docuseries 4 episodes. Well, you can, I mean, if you want to feel good about your life, watch this, I guess. Good Lord. Who is Janie Ridd and where is she today? The first episode of the new season is centered around Janie Ridd, whose tumultuous 25-year friendship with Salt Lake City woman began when the two moved in together and ended with a prison sentence for multiple poisoning attempts with antibiotic resistant bacteria. What in the name of outbreak is this woman trying to do? Ridd lived with a woman named Rachel, who was a single mother to a son named Ryder. After Rachel fell ill, Ridd became the beneficiary of Rachel's $500,000 life insurance policy. Rachel amended her will to give the woman custody of Ryder in the event of her death. With Rachel unable to work, she said, Ridd suddenly had 100% control over her. I really have a hard time believing that the person I've known for 25 years, my best friend and roommate, could do what she did. Rachel, identified only by her first name, said on the Netflix show, but it was diabolical, it was evil, it was plotted and planned so perfectly. We have to see if this is actually. Oh, Cynthia Fire Fairy 42. Mo, you would have loved my mother, the teacher. She didn't put up with this crap for 1 second. When her students grow up, they send her their children. Absolutely. Kids respect when you have boundaries. They don't respect wishy-washiness. They know that's a point of weakness. If you are fair and balanced and kind and measured and you call them on their BS, they like that better. I always thought middle school was a really cool time because you're finally getting to see these personalities grow. And sure, they're birthed out of a lot of jerky behavior, a lot of, social alienation and, not so great things that most of us remember from middle school. But you also get to birth yourself, your own personality, what you want to do, what you will tolerate in friend groups. And that's what I thought was just so absolutely cool about middle school is that, you see these people growing into these amazing, you know, different things than, the cookie cutter students that maybe you get in elementary school. But it is balanced out by, the dose of jerkiness that middle schoolers have. Rachel said she grew sicker. Meanwhile, Ridd started letting people believe she was Ryder's parent. Rachel developed massive methicillin-resistant staphylococcus aureus, or MRSA, because we could have just said that and not make Marissa look like a nut for not being able to read medical stuff. Infection in wounds that were tended by Ridd and then was repeatedly hospitalized for unexplained hypoglycemic incidents. Authorities with FBI's weapons of mass destruction program began investigating Ridd after she contacted a vendor selling vancomycin, so a resistant sort of Versa virus. She was going online to try to find deadly viruses. Who does that? Well, I guess this chick. In October 2019, according to the document, in an incident filed in Utah's 3rd District Court and reviewed by Fox News Digital, Ridd communicated with a vendor for 3 months, telling him she was a biology teacher and needed the bacteria, which is more contagious and deadly than MRSA, experts said, for science experiments with students. Yeah, because they're just going to hand you over, Ebola to help learn 8-year-old cell meiosis and mitosis. Are you kidding me, woman? Come up with a better lie. Also, have you not been to any sort of country like third-rate buffet? I'm pretty sure you can get it there for free without having to get the FBI involved, all right? I'm just absolutely disgusting behavior from this woman, because of course they're just going to send her a really deadly virus. She was actually employed at a job assistance center, according to the indictment. FBI agents watched her pick up the package from a P.O. box in December 2019 and followed her back to her job to question her about its contents. Investigators searched the home that Ridd and Rachel shared, ultimately finding used insulin needles with Rachel's DNA on them that explained her earlier hospitalizations. Ridd was convicted on charges of attempted intentional abuse of a disabled or elderly person and attempted possession or use of a weapon of mass destruction in August 2020. Ridd is now 55 and was released in January 2022 after serving just 25 months, according to the documentary. Good night, nurse. Okay, whichever, if you're the blonde or the brunette, whichever one of you is getting, virally assaulted by the woman, change your name, change your hair color, and get the heck out of Dodge. Holy God. And that's not even the only one. Apparently, we just got a bunch of neighbors that are all the cray cray. So, if you would like to feel better about your life arrangements, this will be out on Netflix. Neighbor or roommates from hell, apparently. Worst roommate ever. In our final story, because I think Guinness has jumped the shark. Guinness World Records. A man uses his eye socket strength to break two Guinness World Records, claims. Now, why one would do this, I don't know. I feel like we have to go back to the old, this is why women live longer, but this doesn't look comfy. I'm having all of the Christmas story, you're going to poke your eye out. A Las Vegas man who works as a sideshow artist broke a pair of eye-popping Guinness World Records using the strength of his eye sockets. Okay. Andrew Stanton appeared on Italian TV series Lo Show de Record in Milan and took the record for the heaviest weight pulled with the eye socket and the heaviest weight lifted with both eye sockets while swallowing a sword. I did not know that where do these records come from? I mean, who sits down and thinks, you know what I can do? I'm gonna pull this with my eye sockets while swallowing a sword. Somewhere his mother has all gray hairs. I contend to you that this is a youngest, most feral of any given family group. I'm just thinking this is their Griffin think it over, and this is what happens. I can't wait for Griffin to call me and tell me he's pulled a monster truck with his eye sockets. For the first title, Stanton attached large metal hooks to his eye sockets and used them to pull a Cadillac and driver totaling 5,391 pounds across the television's show stage. He became the first holder of the second title by swallowing his sword, using the hooks in his eye sockets to lift his 129-pound assistant. Well, there you go. This can only happen in, Italy. So there you go. Not even in America. But there you go. If you would like to give your mother all the gray hairs, if you would like her to maybe question if her parenting skills were maybe not that great, go for these records. Just don't be my kid, okay? Because I already have enough gray hairs or blonde hairs pulling through. I don't need any more. Anyway, that was the morning crazy cavalcade of crazy that I was able to pull out. Do you know where your children are right now? Are they making TikToks of their middle school teachers? Make sure that they have a chore and get to dusting. Which is what I will be doing. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm sending you off to Baker. I know he is doing the hearing for the Alec Baldwin Rust trial, I believe. And what? Wait. What, Justin? I will be on tonight. I will try to give you guys an updated schedule because I don't quite know what is going on as far as relatives being in town. So I will try to keep you guys updated with that. And have a wonderful Monday. Let's start this week off right. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and have just a wonderful Monday. I will see you all tonight. And, stay calm. Don't go on TikTok. Bye, guys.